Welcome to the Millcreek Government Channel. I am Judy Zelina, and there's been a recent collaboration between Arts Erie and Erie Downtown Arts and Culture Coalition. My two guests today played a very important part in this merger, and they're here to tell us today about how this all came about and actually how this is going to impact the community. So joining us today on the program, we have Amanda Brown-Sissom. Amanda is the Executive Director of Erie Arts and Culture. We also have Sean Waskevich, and I did say that correctly this time, didn't I, Sean? And Sean is the Executive Director of the flagship Niagara League. Both of you guys were a part of this merge. This is just recent news. So Amanda, tell us a little bit about this. How did this even come about?
Absolutely. Well, a few years ago, we met with key stakeholders in our community, and as two separate organizations. And our stakeholders asked us to explore whether or not a merger might be of potential and what that might look like for our community. So that was really the catalyzing event that led us down a road to merger. We since then formed a merger committee of both organizations, so 4 representatives of both that met on a regular basis to look at both organizations, analyze what was going on, take a look at who we wanted to become, who we thought the community needed us to become, and what the process of bringing the two organizations together would look like. In fall of 2012, I joined that team as the new executive director for, at the time, Arts Erie, but knowing that eventually it would be an integrated organization. And we really set off on reshaping what the organization would look like.
Do you think because some of the programs that you had and they had maybe were duplications, and this way if you came together it'd be a stronger type of an organization?
Well, both looking at programs and the relationship between the members of both organizations, and how if we were working together as one collective voice for arts and culture, we really could have a stronger presence in the community and a greater impact. So we looked at both of those elements.
Okay, and now your objectives, have your objectives changed from Arts Erie?
They have. It's really been an evolution of the organization, and that's really best practice in nonprofits. As your community changes,
right,
so should your organization. Mm-hmm. And so this was an opportunity for us to take that into consideration and look at where we were going as a community and who, as a support organization to arts and culture, how we needed to better serve those involved with our organization, our supporters, our funders in the community, and really the community at large.
Okay. Now, Sean, the flagship Niagara League, how are you involved in this new merge?
Well, we're one of 8 partner organizations in EDAC, and when this whole merger came about, our organization and myself were happy to be on the merger committee. Like Amanda said, there was 8 people, including myself, on that committee, and it was really important for us to be involved just because we see the excitement and the change being a collaborative partner. And I think by doing this, everybody in the community is going to see that these nonprofits are going to be working together. And Arts Erie basically was just for the arts organizations in town, but as a cultural organization, we see that we can bring a different element to the new organization. Other organizations such as the Experience Children's Museum, Erie County Historical Society, those organizations are more cultural and heritage organizations. So I think by forming arts, culture, and the heritage organizations, it makes our group a lot stronger together.
So basically, what's different about it now?
Well, one of the first things that we did as a merger committee was really go back to the drawing board and say, okay, we know we're grounded in our history, right, but really where do we need to go? And in doing that, we kind of wiped the slate clean and said, what is the underlying mission, vision, values of this integrated organization? How does that need to change? What does that need to look like moving forward? And I think one of the most important changes that occurred beyond bringing both arts, culture, and heritage organizations to the same table is that we really progressed from thinking about the existence of arts and culture in the community to the impact of arts and culture. So you see that reflected in the name. You also see that reflected in our new mission statement, which is the community comes first in both. Our new mission statement is to strengthen the Erie region, the vitality and the vibrancy of the Erie region, and to enrich the lives of our residents, and that through arts and culture. So that it's really a switch in thinking from building infrastructure to building impact through the advancement of arts and culture.
And what are some of the steps you're going to be taking to strengthen and revitalize this new organization?
Well, one of the first things that we did was brought our stakeholders right into this process.
Okay.
And we felt that was incredibly important. We didn't want to create something as a small group. Our merger committee, again, was eight individuals, and then go back and sell that to the community. We wanted the community involved in shaping it. So once we developed the new mission, vision, values, we expanded committees of the Arts Erie Board and included members of the Downtown Arts and Culture Coalition as well as other community stakeholders, and had them help us take that new look and really analyze our organizations and say, how do we get from here to there?
Okay.
So that group worked over the last summer to help us shape the new organization, and that whole structure is really went before both of the boards, and that was what was voted on as a plan for the integrated organization. So out of that comes a series of strategic goals, which we'll embark on over the next 3 years to reshape all of the activity that we've been doing. But you know, we felt that was incredibly important to have the community help define what they needed to see and what they wanted to participate in.
Okay. Now, Sean, with you being a part of this merger, why do you feel it was so important to change the name? Because our viewers right now, I want to remind our viewers, they're familiar with Arts Erie. All right, so, but why was it so important to change the name?
Well, like I said, there's organizations who were part of EDAC previously that aren't arts related, so to speak. So,
all right.
you know, the flagship Niagara League, we're happy to be a part of the new organization, but, you know, if we're moving to Arts Erie, you know, the flagship Niagara League doesn't really fit into that mantra. And the Children's Museum and ECHS and other organizations, they're not necessarily arts, you know, organizations. So the name change was important. And I also think it's important to have a fresh start. EDAC, when we were together with EDAC, we did our own fundraising campaign. Arts Erie did their own fundraising campaign. We met with investors and people around the community. There was some confusion, you know, I gave money to Arts Erie, I'm giving money to EDAC, you know, are you guys working together? Who's getting this money? And I think together it shows that we're one powerful force, and that once we get our message out there, people understand what we're trying to accomplish.
And you have a new logo.
We do.
Okay, and how did this logo come about? I like it a lot.
Thank you very much. So once we established the new name and really our positioning statement, the collective voice for a vibrant region, we then said, okay, what's the imagery that needs to follow this? And having that strong anchoring in the arts community, we thought, well, it makes the most sense for us to use the work of a local artist if we have that opportunity. So we worked with Todd Scalise, who is one of our great local artists. He actually designed the logo for the Perry 200 celebration.
Right.
And so we asked him to come take a look at what we were doing, and he sat with us, he listened to the new mission, the new vision, the new values, the programming that we wanted to do, and he identified first the arch as an iconic symbol that had been used in both arts and in heritage throughout history, and looked at its ability as an image to connect, which was important in connecting arts and culture and connecting all of our stakeholder groups. He then looked at the arch is also very often used in doorways, openings, hallways. So we looked at it as a welcoming symbol as well. So it became kind of the perfect symbol to capture what we were trying to achieve. And as he played with that imagery, he started to use multiple arches. And we went back and forth and talked about how our stakeholder groups, and what if we had 3 arches? So it was really the development between the artist and the organization that helped create the current logo. So what you see are 3 arches, and they're layered. The first arch closest to the name is green, and that really represents our arts and cultural providers bringing fresh ideas to our community. Next, you see the blue arch, which is representative of our funders, our supporters, those who really help to nurture arts and culture in our community through their dedication, their time, and their financial resources. And then you see, ascending the highest, the purple arch, and this is representative of our community. So again, benefiting the greatest from all the layers underneath. That's really our goal. So we thought that captured it very beautifully, simply, very clean, but a logo that we think can carry us through our progression, our evolution.
I love it. I really do. Just looking at it, I just liked it. It was so current and artistic. It was very artsy. But then to listen to the story behind it, I like it.
And what's interesting is, absolutely, it really captures the direction that we want to move, who's important to that conversation, and making sure that everyone can see themselves in this new organization. And that was very important to us.
What I think is important with you both being on the program right now is the fact that even I myself, I guess I thought you were all connected anyway. And I didn't realize that you weren't, so it truly just makes perfect sense for you guys all to be working together. But now, give us an idea. What are some of the other changes that are going to be happening in the organization?
So we've worked in the last couple months on revitalizing our annual arts and culture campaign. One of the themes that came up through this entire process was clarity for the donors. Where can I give, and how does that impact then multiple organizations, multiple projects throughout Erie County? Mm-hmm. So we wanted to make sure that this year, as we roll out the new name and the new logo and the new direction, that we took the opportunity to revitalize that campaign as well. So some of the things that we've done with it are we're trying to get out on the road, do a little bit more outreach to the community. We're going to our partners, we're standing with them at their events, and we're helping to spread the message of the campaign and the changes that are going on. But we also introduced what's called the Anchor Investor this year, which is very exciting. It's and we actually we have 2 anchor investors at this point in time, and we're hoping to grow that pool. Erie Insurance coming out on March 5th with our big announcement as our very first anchor investor. But anchor investors are going to work very intimately with the organization, just as our partners do from a provider side, but from a funder direction, and really help to shape, again, where are we going, and how do we need to think about financing arts and culture in this community? What do we need to look at in terms of impact to know that we're doing the best jobs that we can? Mm-hmm. And so that anchor investor is committing to supporting Erie Arts and Culture, our members, our partners, for a 3-year period, so that we can really shift the conversation from the annual ask to talking about impact and where we're going. So we think that's very exciting.
That is exciting. It really is. Now, Sean, with this merger, I wanted to ask you, how do you feel this relationship is going to benefit the Erie Maritime Museum and the U.S. Brig Niagara?
Sure. There's going to be a stronger synergy between all the organizations. I've been the executive director for 2 years, and when I joined, there wasn't too much collaboration going on, and I think the investors kind of saw that. And that goes back to the 2 separate fundraising campaigns and the things, the way that we marketed ourselves in the community. So from my point of view, we're happy to be a part of it, and all of these organizations are doing great works together. And like I said, if people in the community, not just the stakeholders, but investors and the community at large, so to speak, they see us working together. The flagship Niagara League during Tall Ships, we had a joint project with the Erie Playhouse. We've done stuff with the Erie Philharmonic, and those are things that we're going to continue to be doing with other organizations. So for us, we're proud to be a part of it, and I think working together, everybody's going to see the fruits of their labor down the road.
Oh, I do too. I love it. I love it. In fact, Erie Arts and Culture has been referred to as the backbone of arts and culture in the community. What does this mean?
Backbone organizations are really designed to help encourage collaboration, to set a common vision for the community that includes multiple partners, to help strengthen organizations overall, measure our impact, and tell that story to the community. So yes, a backbone organization helps any individual organization move from thinking about daily operations of just that entity to what does it mean to the community as a whole when we look at the big picture of arts and culture. And we really think that's the infrastructure necessary in our community to really excel in terms of vibrancy, to really build that more vibrant community. We have to work together, and our organization is really designed to help that happen. Examples of the work of a backbone organization is to meet on a regular basis with partners and members, to have them influence new initiatives that need to occur in the community. One of the things we just talked about recently is transportation for seniors to events. This is an issue that impacts multiple organizations. It impacts other sectors within our community. It impacts our restaurants. If a certain part of our population isn't able to attend shows, they're also not going to dinner before shows. So that's an issue that many of us need to work on together. And that's the type of the work that we need to do at one table. Arts and education, arts and cultural education is another area where if we want to better connect and support what's happening in classrooms, we have to have a common conversation about that and a common vision of where we're trying to go as a community. So we are the place where those conversations can happen.
With all these changes happening too, I want to go back for a minute. Erie Arts and Culture, it's built on a strong history.
It is.
Tell us a little bit about how we got to where we are today.
Absolutely. We are actually, our legal name remains the Arts Council of Erie.
All right.
We are doing business as Erie Arts and Culture. And that's important to understand because really our history dates back to 1960. And at that point in time, what the community needed was to think about infrastructure. And again, today, what we're looking at is how that impacts our community, so that there's been that shift there. Our partners at the Erie Downtown Arts and Culture Coalition developed to start to look at a unique space within our community, the downtown area, and how arts and culture played a role in the vibrancy of the downtown. So, over this period of time, we've developed relationships that are critically important to where we're headed, one of which is with the Pennsylvania Council on the Arts. We are a partner to the PA Council on the Arts. We help to administer programming in an 11-county region when it comes to arts and education. When it comes to their Partners in the Art grant program, we serve 5 counties. So that, and for Erie to play partner to the state in that way, that's a critical relationship as we head down the road that we've now shaped. So that's important. We maintain that. We are an Erie County lead asset from the Erie County Gaming Revenue Authority. That's a very important relationship as we talk about better engaging our members, our partners, and our community. So we want to make sure that viewers understand that we really look at this as an evolution and not something completely new. It's the direction that we need to be moving in as our community moves forward.
We were talking a little bit about the Arts and Culture campaign. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. We kick off in the spring each year, and it is a united campaign, which means it benefits multiple organizations and projects. So the campaign, when you give $25, $50, $100 to the campaign, each dollar is split, and it benefits the operations of our 8 partnering organizations. So that includes the flagship Niagara League, that includes the Erie Art Museum, the Erie Playhouse, the Erie Philharmonic, Experience Children's Museum, the Erie County Historical Society, the Daffmark Dance Theater, and Lake Erie Ballet. Beyond that, it also supports the operations of Erie Arts and Culture so that we can provide membership services and those roundtable discussions for the community. and it supports our annual grant program, which provides funding to up to between 30 and 40 projects throughout Erie County each year. So there's every dollar makes a great impact through our campaign. And anyone interested in giving to the campaign can either visit our website at www.erieartsandculture.org, or you can give our office a call. We can take donations in person, through the mail, and online.
So viewers, your dollar goes a long way with these guys, so you remember that.
We think it's a very effective and efficient way to give to
Right.
arts and culture.
Definitely. So, and tell our viewers, why should they support the Erie Arts and Culture?
Well, I think we both can answer to that.
And I want both of you.
Let's do that.
Give us both of your views on that.
Well, we know that having a healthy arts and cultural ecosystem in a community helps attract business.